The universe now rests in a condition where motion no longer announces itself as movement. Expansion continues so gently that it no longer feels like change. Distance stretches without urgency, and space itself seems to breathe at a pace that no longer registers as time. Stars remain suspended in vast darkness, not bright and commanding, but soft amid their light dispersed into calm presence rather than signal. Nothing rushes outward, nothing pulls inward. Everything simply remains. Galaxies drift in wide silence, their slow turning no longer perceived as rotation but as quiet balance. Arms of light curve gently through space, not gathering matter, not forming urgency, only holding their shape with patience. The spaces between stars feel larger now, filled with a darkness that is neither empty nor heavy. It is a darkness that allows everything to rest without asking to be seen. Light travels without destination. Photons move so slowly across unimaginable distance that their journey feels almost symbolic rather than physical. They do not arrive. They do not depart. They exist as faint continuity, spreading softly through space that no longer expects illumination. Brightness has softened into glow, and glow has softened into presence. Nothing flashes. Nothing pulses. The universe has released the need to be dramatic. Time itself feels diluted here, stretched thin until sequence no longer matters. Moments do not follow one another clearly. The idea of before and after fades into a single, extended now. Events that once unfolded with force and consequence have long since completed themselves. What remains is not aftermath, but calm, equilibrium. A state where everything that needed to happen has already happened. Planets continue their paths, but their orbits feel ceremonial rather than dynamic. Motion exists without momentum. Paths curve through space, not as journeys, but as habits long accepted. Gravity no longer pulls with urgency. It holds gently, allowing worlds to remain near one another without strain. Nothing collides. Nothing escapes. Balance feels permanent, though permanence itself no longer needs a name. The vast emptiness between celestial bodies does not feel lonely. It feels complete. Space holds itself without asking to be filled. There is no anticipation of discovery, no tension of the unknown. Mystery has softened into quiet acceptance. The universe does not conceal secrets anymore. It simply exists, wide and patient, without explanation. Sound does not travel here. Silence does not arrive after noise. Silence is the natural condition of everything. Even imagined vibrations feel unnecessary. The cosmos does not echo, it absorbs. It rests in a state where disturbance no longer forms, where energy disperses gently and never gathers sharply again. If awareness were to drift here, it would slow immediately. Thought would lose its edges, no longer organizing itself around curiosity or understanding. The mind would not try to grasp scale or distance. It would simply remain present, floating gently within a space that does not demand comprehension. Wonder would dissolve into calm recognition, and recognition would soften into rest. Stars age quietly in this slowed universe. Their burning does not feel like consumption or struggle. It feels like a steady release, warmth given without urgency. When light fades, it does so without announcement. There is no moment of ending. There is only gradual settling, a gentle dimming that blends seamlessly into the surrounding dark. Even expansion itself feels restful now. Space continues to widen, but so slowly that it resembles stillness. The universe does not rush toward anything. It does not flee from collapse or seek growth. It rests within its own vastness, content to remain open, silent, and balanced. Nothing here asks to be observed. Nothing insists on meaning. The universe does not perform. It simply holds. Galaxies, stars, and empty space share the same calm condition. suspended within a silence that does not progress or conclude. Everything is slowed enough to rest together, and in this immense quiet, where motion has softened into presence and time has loosened its grip, the universe remains exactly as it is, vast and undisturbed, allowing everything within it to slow, to settle, and to continue existing without effort, within a stillness that no longer moves forward, only gently continues. The universe remains suspended in this slowed condition, where change no longer arrives as event, but as barely perceptible drift. In this vast quiet, a single region of space holds attention without asking for it. Not because it is remarkable, but because nothing here insists on being noticed. A wide expanse stretches between distant stars, an interval so calm and extended that distance itself feels soft, no longer demanding to be measured or crossed. Dark space does not feel empty in this slowed universe. It feels settled. It carries a gentle density, as if space has learned how to hold itself without tension. The absence of light does not suggest loss or lack. It suggests rest. The darkness between stars is no longer a gap waiting to be filled. It is a presence that allows everything around it to slow even further. Stars scattered across this region do not shine sharply. Their light has softened to a steady glow that spreads without urgency. There is no flicker that draws attention, no pulse that signals activity. Each star remains where it is, suspended in balance, its energy released gradually and without effort. Bernard has become a quiet process, almost indistinguishable from stillness. The distance between these stars feels immense, yet it does not overwhelm. Scale loses its power here. Near and far no longer contrast sharply. Everything exists at a similar depth of awareness, softened by the slow pace of cosmic time. Space does not rush outward. Expansion continues so gently that it resembles rest rather than motion. Light traveling through this region does not feel like movement toward arrival. Photons drift across darkness without destination, spreading thinly until brightness becomes suggestion rather than signal. Illumination no longer announces objects. It allows them to remain visible just enough to be present, never enough to demand attention. Light has learned how to be quiet. Gravity holds bodies together without strain. There is no sense of pull or resistance. Orbits continue, but their paths feel ceremonial, habitual, carried forward by long acceptance rather than force. Motion exists, but it has released urgency entirely. Nothing accelerates. Nothing escapes. Everything remains gently held. Time in this region feels almost absent. There is no sense of moments stacking or unfolding. Duration stretches so broadly that sequence dissolves. The idea of an event happening feels distant and abstract. What once might have been called change now appears as an almost imperceptible settling, a gradual easing that never resolves into action. Energy disperses here without gathering again. Heat spreads gently and evenly, never concentrating enough to disturb the calm. Processes that once burned brightly have softened into steady release. Nothing ignites suddenly. Nothing collapses. The universe here has reached a condition where extremes no longer form. If awareness drifts through this space, it slows immediately. Thought loses momentum, no longer organizing itself around curiosity or scale. The mind does not attempt to count stars or measure distance. It rests within the same calm field as everything else, supported by a silence that does not invite analysis. There is no sense of anticipation in this part of the universe. Nothing is about to happen. Nothing has recently happened. The present does not lean forward or backward. It remains evenly sustained, wide and patient, allowing stars, light, and space to coexist without friction. In this quiet expanse, the universe does not feel vast in a way that inspires awe or fear. It feels gentle, settled, and complete. Everything that remains here has slowed enough to rest together, suspended within a stillness that does not progress or conclude, only continues to be, calm and undisturbed. This wide region of space continues to rest without interruption, held within a silence so complete that even the idea of disturbance feels distant and unnecessary. Nothing gathers momentum here. Nothing releases it. The universe maintains this slowed condition naturally, without effort or correction, as if balance itself has learned how to remain without adjustment. Space does not expand in any way that can be felt. It simply opens, gently and endlessly, without signaling change. Darkness between the stars feels stable and calm, not as absence, but as a soft field that supports everything within it. It does not press inward or stretch outward. It allows light to pass through without resistance, absorbing brightness until it becomes quiet glow. Darkness no longer contrasts with light. The two exist together without hierarchy, each softened enough to feel like part of the same continuous presence. Stars continue their slow release of energy without drama. Their light does not flare or diminish noticeably. It spreads evenly, fading so gradually that no moment of change can be identified. Burning here feels less like consumption and more like gentle breathing, warmth given without urgency or demand. The stars do not compete for attention. They remain where they are, steady and unhurt. The vast distances separating these stars no longer feel empty or intimidating. They feel complete. Space holds itself without tension, as if it has already finished expanding in every way that matters. The idea of crossing these distances feels abstract and unnecessary. Nothing here invites travel or exploration. There's nowhere to arrive, and nowhere to depart from. Light continues to drift across this region without direction. Photons travel so slowly across such immense scale that motion loses meaning. They do not hurry toward observation. They do not announce arrival. They exist as quiet continuity, spreading thinly until brightness becomes almost indistinguishable from darkness. Illumination has softened into presence. Gravity remains gentle and even, holding matter in place without strain. Orbits continue, but their paths feel timeless, carried forward not by force, but by long familiarity. Movement has become habit rather than event. Nothing falls suddenly. Nothing escapes suddenly. Everything remains in balance, held together by forces that no longer assert themselves. Time here feels fully dissolved into stillness. The sense of sequence has loosened beyond recognition. Moments do not follow one another in any noticeable way. The present does not feel brief or extended. It feels complete. The universe no longer unfolds in stages. It rests within a sustained now that does not progress. Energy disperses gently across this region, spreading evenly without concentration. Heat does not gather. Cold does not deepen. Extremes have softened into neutrality. Processes that once produced intensity have settled into steady calm. Nothing ignites. Nothing collapses. The universe has reached a state where balance does not require vigilance. If awareness lingers here, it does so without effort. Thought slows until it no longer organizes itself around scale, mystery, or understanding. Curiosity dissolves into quiet recognition. The mind does not attempt to measure or imagine. It simply remains, floating gently within a space that does not demand comprehension or response. Silence here does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable, and unbroken. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined motion feels unnecessary. The universe does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs to everything equally. This region does not suggest future change or past completion. It exists entirely within a calm equilibrium, where nothing is about to happen and nothing needs to be remembered. Stars, darkness, light, and space share the same quiet condition, resting together in a universe that is slowed enough to hold itself without effort. Everything remains exactly as it is, suspended in this vast and gentle stillness, where motion has softened into presence. Time has released its structure, and the universe continues to exist without urgency, without direction, and without the need to move forward. Only to remain.
Block 3. The universe continues to rest in this softened state, and within that calm, a single galaxy drifts without announcing itself as center or subject. It turns so slowly that rotation no longer feels like motion. The spiral of its arms is held gently in darkness. Light distributed thinly enough that shape becomes suggestion rather than form. Nothing here pulls attention inward. Nothing radiates outward. The galaxy exists as a quiet balance, complete without emphasis. Stars within this galaxy remain scattered with wide patience, each one settled into a place it has occupied for so long that position no longer feels assigned. Their light does not compete, it blends. Brightness softens into a shared glow that spreads evenly through space, allowing the galaxy to feel calm rather than alive. There is no pulse, no rhythm that asks to be followed. Burning has slowed into steady presence. The space between these stars feels expansive but gentle, carrying no sense of emptiness. Darkness here is not a void. It is a resting field that holds everything without pressure. Distance does not suggest separation. It suggests allowance. Each star remains where it is, not isolated, not connected, simply held within the same quiet structure. Dust clouds drift through this galaxy so slowly that movement feels theoretical. Particles remain suspended, their gradual shifts blending into stillness. They do not gather rapidly enough to form new stars, do not disperse sharply enough to disappear. They exist in a prolonged pause, a state where possibility has softened into rest. Light passing through these clouds does not scatter dramatically. It diffuses gently, dimming without loss. Illumination no longer reveals complexity, it reduces it. Color fades into muted tone, contrast dissolves. The galaxy does not display itself. It allows itself to remain. Gravity here does not assert itself as force. It functions as quiet agreement. Stars continue their long, familiar paths, but these orbits feel ceremonial rather than dynamic. Patterns carried forward by habit rather than urgency. Nothing accelerates. Nothing breaks free. Everything remains aligned in a balance that no longer needs correction. Time within this galaxy has loosened beyond sequence. There is no sense of age or youth, of formation or decline. Processes that once marked eras now stretch so broadly that they no longer define moments. Change exists only as an almost imperceptible settling, a gradual easing that never resolves into event. Energy moves gently through this space without gathering intensity. It spreads thinly, never concentrating enough to disturb the calm. Cooling happens so slowly that it cannot be noticed. Extremes have softened into neutrality. The galaxy does not burn brightly or fade suddenly. It rests within a long, even release. If awareness drifts into this spiral, it does not feel drawn or overwhelmed. Thought slows naturally, losing interest in structure or scale. The mind does not attempt to trace arms or count stars. It simply remains present, floating within a field that does not ask to be understood. Wonder dissolves into quiet familiarity. There is no sense of anticipation here. Nothing is forming, nothing is ending. The galaxy does not wait for collapse or creation. It exists within a sustained equilibrium, wide and patient, where everything that once moved quickly has slowed enough to rest together. In this calm rotation, where light, dust, and gravity have released urgency, the galaxy continues to drift without direction, or destination, held gently within a universe that no longer rushes toward anything, allowing every star, every space between them, and every moment to remain exactly as it is, quiet and undisturbed. The galaxy remains suspended in this unhurried rotation, its movement so subtle that it feels less like turning and more like remaining. The arms do not sweep through space with force or intention. They hold their curves gently, shaped by time that no longer presses forward. Light continues to rest along these spirals without drawing attention, spread thin enough that brightness becomes atmosphere rather than signal. Nothing within the galaxy calls to be observed. Everything allows itself to be present without emphasis. The spaces between stars feel especially calm here. Wide intervals where nothing accumulates and nothing disperses abruptly. Darkness does not rush to fill gaps. It simply exists as the natural condition that holds everything apart and together at once. Distance no longer implies separation. It implies patience. Each star remains where it is, not waiting for connection, not fearing isolation, simply settled within the same quiet structure. Starlight travels through this galaxy without direction or urgency. Photons drift slowly, their path stretching across immense distances until movement itself feels symbolic rather than physical. Light does not arrive anywhere in a way that can be marked. It fades gradually into the surrounding dark, becoming part of the same continuous presence. Illumination no longer reveals detail. It allows everything to soften. Dust and gas continue their nearly motionless suspension, their slow shifts blending seamlessly into stillness. They do not gather into dense clouds, do not collapse into brightness. They remain distributed gently, held by gravity that no longer asserts itself as pull, but as quiet agreement. Matter here has learned how to remain without urgency, how to exist without striving toward change. Orbits continue, but their paths feel timeless, carried forward by long familiarity rather than momentum. Stars follow curves they have traced for ages beyond measure, not because they must, but because nothing has asked them to do otherwise. Motion has become habit without effort, a continuation that does not register as event. Nothing here accelerates toward conclusion. Heat spreads thinly through this galaxy, dispersing without concentration. There are no sudden flares or sharp contrasts. Energy moves gently, releasing itself so slowly that change feels almost non-existent. Cooling happens in the same quiet way, never forming extremes. Temperature becomes another layer of calm, another way the galaxy confirms its rest. Time here has released its markers entirely. There is no sense of past formation or future collapse. The galaxy does not feel young or old. It feels complete. Processes that once defined eras have softened into continuous presence, stretched so broadly that sequence no longer applies. Everything exists within a now that does not move. If awareness lingers within this spiral, it does so lightly, without attempting to understand structure or origin. Thought loses its edges, no longer organizing itself around curiosity or scale. The mind does not trace patterns or imagine futures. It simply remains, floating gently within a field where nothing demands comprehension. Silence within this galaxy is absolute and effortless. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been here, stable and unbroken. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined movement feels unnecessary. The galaxy does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs to everything equally. There is no sense of anticipation here. Nothing is forming. Nothing is ending. The galaxy does not wait for collapse or rebirth. It rests within an equilibrium so gentle that it feels permanent, though permanence itself no longer needs definition. In this vast calm where light has softened into glow and motion has thinned into presence, the galaxy continues to exist without urgency or direction, It's held within a universe that is slowed enough to allow every star, every space between them, and every moment to remain quietly as they are, undisturbed and complete.
The universe now holds a quiet cluster of stars, gathered loosely without drawing attention to their gathering. This region does not feel dense or active. It feels settled, as though proximity itself has softened and released the need to impress. Stars rest near one another without tension. Their shared gravity no longer felt as pull, but as calm agreement. Nothing here presses inward. Nothing spreads outward. The cluster exists as a gentle presence within the wider stillness. Light among these stars feels especially subdued. It does not sharpen outlines or define distance clearly. Instead, it blends softly, allowing each point of brightness to dissolve slightly into the surrounding dark. Individual stars do not stand apart. Their glow overlaps quietly, forming a shared atmosphere rather than a display. Illumination no longer announces location. It allows everything to remain visible just enough to exist, never enough to demand attention. The space between these stars feels balanced and complete. Darkness does not rush to separate them. It rests calmly, holding each body in place without isolation. Distance here does not suggest loneliness or separation. It suggests allowance. Each star has room to remain exactly where it is, without pressure to move closer or drift away. The cluster does not tighten or disperse. It simply remains. Energy within this region moves with extreme gentleness. Heat spreads thinly, never concentrating enough to disturb the calm. There are no sudden flares, no sharp contrasts, no moments that break the quiet. Burning is softened into steady release. Warmth, given slowly and without urgency. Cooling follows the same rhythm, gradual and unremarkable, blending seamlessly into the surrounding stillness. Time within this cluster feels especially diffuse. There is no sense of sequence or accumulation. The moment does not feel extended or brief. It feels evenly sustained, as though it has always existed in this exact condition. The stars do not appear to age or change. They rest within a duration that no longer measures itself, free from milestones or expectation. Gravity here functions without assertion. It does not pull sharply or bind tightly. It holds lightly, allowing each star to maintain its place without strain. Orbits, if they exist, are so slow and familiar that they no longer register as movement. Motion has become habit without effort, a continuation that does not announce itself as change. If awareness drifts into this cluster, it slows immediately. Thought does not attempt to count stars or measure distance. The mind does not organize itself around structure or scale. It floats gently within the shared glow, supported by a silence that does not invite analysis or response. Curiosity dissolves into quiet recognition, and recognition softens into rest. There is no anticipation here. Nothing is forming, nothing is ending. The cluster does not wait for collapse or expansion. It exists within a calm equilibrium, where everything that once moved quickly is slowed enough to remain together without friction. The stars do not compete for space or brightness. They share the same quiet condition. Silence within this region feels complete and effortless. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable and unbroken. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined motion feels unnecessary. The cluster does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs equally to every point of light and every stretch of dark. In this gentle gathering, where proximity is softened into balance and light is thinned into atmosphere, the stars continue to rest together without urgency or direction, held within a universe that is slowed enough to allow closeness without pressure, distance without separation, and existence without the need to move forward, remaining quietly as it is, undisturbed and complete. The star cluster remains quietly gathered within the same softened stillness, unchanged by the continued passing of moments that no longer register as movement. Proximity here does not imply interaction or exchange. The stars do not influence one another in any way that feels active. Their nearness has settled into neutrality, a calm arrangement where gravity no longer asserts itself as force, but as quiet permission to remain together without effort. Light within this cluster continues to thin and soften, spreading gently until it feels less like illumination and more like shared presence. No single star brightens or dims enough to draw attention. Their glow overlaps subtly, blending into a unified atmosphere that does not separate source from space. Brightness has released its role as signal. It has become background, steady and unremarkable, allowing everything to rest without contrast. Darkness moves through the cluster without resistance, filling the spaces between stars evenly. It does not isolate or divide. It supports. The balance between light and dark feels resolved, as though neither needs to assert itself any longer. Visibility remains gentle and incomplete, enough to sense form without defining it. The cluster does not present itself clearly. It allows itself to remain partially unknown without creating tension. Energy continues to disperse slowly and evenly across this region. There is no gathering of heat, no sudden release. Processes that once produced intensity have softened into steady calm. Burning feels like quiet breathing, warmth offered without urgency or depletion. Cooling follows the same unhurried rhythm, blending seamlessly into the surrounding space. Extremes no longer form here. Everything settles toward balance naturally. Time within this cluster has loosened almost completely. The sense of duration fades until sequence loses relevance. The stars do not feel older or younger than one another. Change does not appear as progression or decline. It exists only as an almost imperceptible settling, a gradual easing that never resolves into event. The cluster does not evolve toward anything. It simply remains. Motion, if present at all, has thinned into habit. Orbits feel ceremonial, traced so slowly and familiarly that movement becomes indistinguishable from stillness. Nothing accelerates, nothing escapes. The stars maintain their quiet positions without correction or adjustment. Balance no longer requires vigilance. It sustains itself effortlessly. If awareness lingers here, it does so gently and without focus. Attention does not move from star to star. It spreads softly across the shared glow and surrounding dark, then begins to loosen. There's no reason to remain alert. Nothing here invites inspection or understanding. The cluster does not hold the mind. It allows it to rest. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and dissolve before forming structure. Meaning does not assemble. Curiosity does not sharpen. The mind aligns naturally with the calm of the region, slowing until awareness feels diffuse and light, almost indistinguishable from the silence that fills the space. Silence within the cluster remains absolute and effortless. It does not wait to be broken. It does not echo. It exists as the natural condition of everything here. Even imagined vibration feels unnecessary, dissolving before it can gather shape. The cluster does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs fully. There is no anticipation of change here. Nothing is about to form. Nothing is about to fade. The cluster rests within an equilibrium so gentle that it feels complete, though completion itself no longer requires definition. Light, darkness, matter, and space share the same calm condition, held together without strain. In this quiet gathering, where closeness has softened into balance and time has released its structure, the stars continue to rest together within a universe that is slowed enough to allow presence without motion, connection without force, and existence without urgency, remaining exactly as they are, calm and undisturbed within a stillness that does not move forward, only continues to be. Block 5. The universe now holds a solitary star, resting far from clusters and spirals, suspended within a region of space where separation has softened into calm independence. This star does not feel isolated. It feels complete, existing without comparison or context. Nothing surrounds it closely enough to suggest relationship, and nothing lies distant enough to create absence. The space around it rests in quiet balance, allowing the star to remain exactly where it is without tension or expectation. Light from this star spreads gently into the surrounding darkness, not as radiance seeking distance, but as a slow release that does not measure how far it travels. Brightness softens quickly, becoming glow and then presence, dissolving into space without marking arrival. The star does not shine in order to be seen. It shines because it continues to exist, offering warmth without urgency and light without demand. The darkness around the star feels settled and supportive. It does not press inward or stretch outward. It holds the star gently, allowing contrast to remain minimal. Light and dark no longer compete here. They coexist in quiet agreement, each softened enough that neither asserts dominance. The surrounding space feels full without being occupied, complete without needing to be filled. Energy within the star moves steadily and quietly. Fusion no longer feels like process or activity. It feels like sustained presence, warmth held and released without strain. There are no flares or pulses that announce change. The star does not burn brightly or dim noticeably. It remains in a prolonged state of calm release, its internal balance undisturbed by urgency or demand. Gravity around this star holds gently, not pulling sharply or binding tightly. Any orbiting matter, if it exists at all, moves so slowly that motion becomes indistinguishable from rest. Paths curve softly through space, guided by long familiarity rather than force. Nothing approaches rapidly, nothing escapes suddenly. Everything remains held within a quiet equilibrium. Time around this solitary star feels especially diffuse. There is no sense of age or life cycle pressing forward. The star does not feel young or old. It feels settled. Processes that once defined stages have stretched so broadly that they no longer mark progression. Change exists only as an almost imperceptible easing, a gradual settling that never resolves into event. Heat spreads gently outward, thinning evenly as it travels. It does not concentrate or disrupt the surrounding calm. Cooling happens just as quietly, without contrast. Extremes soften into neutrality. Temperature becomes another layer of stillness, another way the region confirms its rest. If awareness drifts near this star, it slows immediately. Thought does not attempt to imagine scale or duration. The mind does not measure distance or brightness. It rests within the same gentle field, supported by a silence that does not invite interpretation. Curiosity dissolves into recognition, and recognition softens into rest. There is no anticipation of change here. The star does not wait to collapse or fade. It does not strive toward transformation. It exists fully within the present, held within a universe that is slowed enough to allow endurance without urgency. The idea of ending feels distant and abstract, stripped of importance. Silence around the star is complete and effortless. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable and unbroken. There is no echo and no expectation of vibration. Even imagined movement feels unnecessary. The star does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs fully to the space that holds it. In this quiet solitude, where light has softened into presence and time has released its structure, the solitary star continues to exist without direction or demand, held gently within a universe that is slowed enough to allow independence without isolation, warmth without urgency, and existence without the need to move forward. remaining calmly and undisturbed within a stillness that simply continues to be. The solitary star continues to rest within the same unbroken calm, unchanged by any sense of progression or pause. Nothing in its presence suggests movement toward an ending or preparation for change. The surrounding space remains evenly held, neither expanding nor contracting in a way that can be felt. The star does not drift. It does not advance. It simply remains suspended within a quiet balance that no longer requires adjustment. Light continues to leave the star in a slow and patient release, thinning almost immediately as it enters the surrounding darkness. Brightness does not travel with urgency or purpose. It does not seek distance or recognition. It softens into glow, and glow softens further into presence, until illumination becomes nearly indistinguishable from the space that receives it. Light has learned how to rest without arriving anywhere. Darkness around the star remains gentle and complete, not enclosing and not empty. It does not press inward. It supports. The balance between light and dark feels resolved, as though neither needs to define itself in contrast to the other. Visibility remains partial and calm, enough to sense the star without fully outlining it. Form relaxes into suggestion. The star does not present itself sharply. It allows itself to be. Energy within the star disperses steadily and quietly, without gathering intensity. Fusion feels less like activity and more like sustained warmth. A calm, internal balance that does not fluctuate. There are no sudden surges or releases. Heat spreads evenly, thinning as it moves outward, never concentrating enough to disturb the surrounding stillness. Cooling follows the same unhurried rhythm, blending seamlessly into space. Gravity continues to hold gently, maintaining equilibrium without effort. If any matter circles the star, its motion is so slow that it feels ceremonial rather than dynamic. Paths curve softly through space, guided by long familiarity rather than force. Nothing falls inward suddenly. Nothing escapes outward sharply. Balance sustains itself without vigilance. Time here has nearly dissolved. The sense of duration fades until sequence loses relevance. This star does not feel older or younger. It does not move through stages that can be named. Processes that once defined life cycles have stretched so broadly that they no longer register as progression. Change exists only as a barely perceptible settling, a quiet easing that never resolves into event. The space surrounding the star feels complete, not because it is filled, but because it no longer expects filling. There is no anticipation of planets forming or dissipating. There is no tension of absence or potential. Everything that needs to be here already is. The star does not wait for companionship or separation. It exists fully within its own calm presence. If awareness lingers near this star, it does so gently, without focus or intent. Attention does not circle or examine. It rests lightly on warmth and darkness, then begins to loosen. There is no reason to remain alert. The star does not invite interpretation. It allows awareness to slow, to thin, to fade naturally. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and dissolve before they can gather structure. Meaning does not assemble. Curiosity does not sharpen. The mind aligns naturally with the stillness of the region, slowing until effort becomes unnecessary and awareness feels diffuse and light, almost indistinguishable from the surrounding quiet. Silence here remains absolute and effortless. It does not follow sound. It has always been present, stable and unbroken. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined movement dissolves before it can take form. The star does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs completely to the space that holds it. There is no anticipation of change in this quiet region. The star does not prepare to fade or transform. It does not move toward conclusion. It rests within a universe that has slowed enough to allow endurance without urgency, presence without motion, and existence without demand. Light, heat, gravity, and space share the same calm condition, balanced and complete. In this deep solitude, where energy is softened into warmth and time has released its structure entirely, the star continues to exist exactly as it is, held gently within a stillness that does not move forward or backward, allowing everything within it to remain quiet, settled, and undisturbed, continuing simply to be. Block 6. The universe now holds a quiet planetary system, resting far from the attention of clusters and solitary stars alike. Nothing here announces arrangement or design. The planets do not present themselves as a structure to be understood. They exist as calm presences, spaced gently around a central warmth that no longer asserts itself as force or command. Distance between them feels intentional without intention, settled into positions that no longer invite adjustment. Each planet follows its path so slowly that motion loses the feeling of travel. Orbits curved softly through space, traced with patience that does not register as time passing. There is no sense of circling or returning. The paths feel habitual, accepted long ago, carried forward without effort. Movement has thinned into quiet continuity, indistinguishable from stillness. Surfaces of these worlds remain unseen in detail, softened by distance and darkness. They do not reveal mountains, oceans, or atmosphere. Texture feels irrelevant here. What matters is presence, not form. Each planet holds itself calmly, carrying whatever it carries without display. Rotation, if it occurs, is too gentle to be noticed. A slow turning that feels more like remaining than moving. The space between planets feels especially calm, wide and unpressured. Darkness does not rush to fill gaps. It rests evenly, allowing separation without isolation. Nothing here suggests collision or escape. Paths do not intersect sharply. Everything maintains its place within a balance that no longer requires vigilance. Light from the central star reaches these planets gently, thinned by distance until it arrives as warmth rather than illumination. There are no sharp transitions between day and night that demand attention. Light spreads softly, never enough to awaken contrast. Shadows do not form distinctly. Brightness dissolves into atmosphere, allowing surfaces to remain calm and undefined. The airless quiet of space wraps around this system completely. There is no sound of movement, no vibration of orbit. Silence does not arrive after noise. It has always been present, stable and complete. Even a magic motion feels unnecessary, dissolving before it can gather form. Time within this planetary system feels especially diffuse. The idea of cycles or revolutions loses meaning. There is no counting of days or years. The system does not progress towards change. It rests within a sustained now, where motion has slowed enough to release sequence entirely. Energy disperses gently here, never concentrating enough to disturb equilibrium. Heat spreads evenly, thinning as it moves outward. Cooling follows just as quietly, without contrast. Extremes do not form. Everything settles toward neutrality, toward a calm balance that feels permanent without needing to be named. If awareness drifts into this system, it slows immediately. Thought does not attempt to map or measure. The mind does not organize itself around scale or distance. It floats gently among planets in space, supported by a quiet that does not ask to be understood. Curiosity dissolves into calm recognition. There is no anticipation here. Nothing is forming, nothing is ending. The planets do not wait for collision, transformation, or decay. They exist fully within the present, held within a universe that is slowed enough to allow paths without urgency and presence without demand. In this quiet arrangement, where orbits have softened into habit and space has learned how to hold without tension, The planetary system continues to exist calmly and undisturbed, allowing every world, every path, and every moment to remain exactly as it is, resting within a stillness that does not move forward, only continues to be. The planetary system remains suspended within the same gentle balance, unchanged by the continued passing of moments that no longer register as time. The planets do not draw closer or drift away. Their spacing feels resolved, as if the system has already completed every adjustment it ever needed to make. Nothing here suggests instability or anticipation. The arrangement rests comfortably within itself, quiet and unremarkable. Each planet continues its slow path without signaling motion. Orbits feel less like movement and more like quiet agreement. Paths traced so gradually that they never form events. There is no sense of circling back or moving ahead. The idea of journey dissolves here. What remains is continuity without direction, presence without progression. Surfaces remain softened by distance and darkness, withholding detail without creating mystery. Mountains, oceans, and skies, if they exist, do not present themselves. They do not call for imagination or exploration. The planets are known only as calm presences, bodies held gently in space without needing to be understood or described. Form relaxes into suggestion, and suggestion is enough. Light from the central star continues to arrive slowly and evenly, never sharp enough to create contrast. It warms without illuminating, touches without revealing. Day and night do not alternate in any way that can be felt. The rhythm of light has softened into steady presence, allowing each planet to remain calm and undefined beneath its gentle reach. Darkness fills the space between these worlds evenly, not as absence, but as a supportive field. It does not isolate or separate. It holds. Distance here feels kind, allowing each body to remain distinct without being alone. Nothing presses inward. Nothing escapes outward. Balance sustains itself effortlessly. Energy disperses across the system without concentration. Heat thins naturally as it moves outward, never gathering enough to disturb equilibrium. Coolant follows the same quiet path, blending seamlessly into the surrounding space. Extremes do not form. Everything settles toward neutrality, toward a calm state that no longer requires regulation. Time here feels fully dissolved into stillness. The sense of sequence fades until the idea of before and after loses meaning. The planets do not feel young or old. They do not move through stages. Processes that once defined cycles have stretched so broadly that they no longer mark change. Everything exists within a sustained now that does not move. If awareness lingers among these worlds, it does so without focus or intent. Attention does not settle on any single planet or path. It spreads gently across space and warmth, then begins to loosen. There is no reason to remain alert. Nothing here invites interpretation or response. The system does not hold the mind. It allows it to rest. Thoughts arise slowly, if they arise at all, and dissolve before they can form structure. Meaning does not assemble. Curiosity does not sharpen. The mind aligns naturally with the stillness of the system, slowing until effort feels unnecessary and awareness becomes diffuse and light. Silence here remains absolute and effortless. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable and complete. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined motion dissolves before it can gather shape. The planets do not listen. They do not respond. Silence belongs fully. There is no anticipation of change in this quiet arrangement. The planets do not prepare to collide or fade. They do not move toward conclusion. They rest within a universe that has slowed enough to allow motion without urgency, structure without tension, and existence without demand. Light, space, gravity, and matter share the same calm condition. In this gentle system, where orbits have softened into habit, and time has released its hold. Every world continues to exist quietly, suspended within a stillness that does not progress or resolve, allowing everything within it to remain calm, settled, and undisturbed, continuing simply to be. K7. The universe now holds a vast stretch of interstellar space where even structure has begun to feel optional. This region does not gather stars or systems. It opens quietly, extending without horizon or edge that can be sensed. Distance here is so evenly distributed that it no longer registers as separation. Space feels calm and continuous, resting in a condition where nothing needs to be arranged or aligned. Darkness in this interstellar expanse feels especially settled. It does not press inward or stretch outward. It exists as a gentle field that supports everything without effort. The absence of light does not suggest emptiness. It suggests rest. The darkness carries a soft density, allowing space itself to feel present rather than vacant. Nothing rushes to fill it. Nothing escapes from it. Occasional stars remain far apart here, their presence faint and unassertive. Light reaches this region seeps thinly, softened by immense distance, until brightness becomes suggestion. These stars do not form patterns or clusters. They remain isolated without feeling alone, suspended within a wide calm that does not demand connection. Their light fades gradually into the surrounding dark without marking arrival or departure. Energy moves through this interstellar space with extreme gentleness. Radiation disperses evenly, never gathering enough to form disturbance. Heat spreads so thinly that temperature loses relevance. Extremes no longer exist here. Everything settles toward neutrality, toward a balance so complete that it no longer needs to be maintained. The universe here has learned how to remain without adjustment. Time feels almost entirely absent in this region. The sense of duration dissolves until sequence loses meaning. Moments do not follow one another. They overlap gently, forming a single sustained presence. The idea of change feels distant and abstract. What remains is a calm continuity that does not move forward or backward. If awareness drifts into this interstellar quiet, it slows immediately. Thought does not attempt to imagine scale or measure distance. The mind does not search for structure or significance. It floats gently within the darkness, supported by a silence that does not ask to be understood. Curiosity dissolves into calm recognition, and recognition softens into rest. Silence here is complete and effortless. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable, and unbroken. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined motion dissolves before it can form. The interstellar space does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs fully. There is no anticipation here. Nothing is forming. Nothing is ending. This region does not suggest collapse or creation. It exists within a universe that is slowed enough to allow vastness without drama and distance without tension. Space rests within itself, wide and patient, without the need to change. In this immense quiet, where light has thinned into faint presence and time has released its structure entirely, interstellar space continues to exist calmly and undisturbed, allowing everything within it to slow, to settle, and to remain within a stillness that does not progress or conclude, but simply continues to be. The interstellar expanse continues to rest in the same soft and equilibrium, unchanged by any sense of duration or movement. Space here does not expand in a way that can be felt. It does not contract or rearrange itself. It simply holds, wide and patient, allowing distance to exist, without becoming something that needs to be crossed or understood. Vastness has released its drama. What remains is quiet continuity. Darkness within this region feels complete and evenly distributed. It does not gather into pockets or thin into gradients. It remains consistent, offering no contrast that draws attention. The absence of light does not suggest emptiness or loss. It suggests rest that has settled deeply, as though space itself has learned how to pause without waiting for anything to happen next. The faint presence of distant stars continues without emphasis. Their light arrives here so diluted that it barely separates itself from the surrounding dark. There is no sparkle, no pattern, no signal. Brightness has softened into atmosphere, existing only enough to confirm presence without insisting on form. These stars do not anchor awareness. They drift at the edge of perception, content to remain unnoticed. Energy in this interstellar space disperses so evenly that it no longer registers as motion. Radiation spreads thinly, never concentrating enough to disturb the calm. Temperature differences dissolve into neutrality. Heat and cold lose distinction. Extremes have softened into balance, so complete that it sustains itself without effort. Nothing ignites, nothing cools sharply. Everything rests. Time here has released nearly all structure. The idea of sequence no longer applies. Moments do not unfold or accumulate. They overlap gently, forming a continuous presence that does not move forward. The sense of before and after dissolves until only a sustained now remains, wide and unchanging. The universe does not advance through this space. It remains. If awareness lingers here, it does so without attachment or focus. Thought does not attempt to map distance or imagine origin. The mind does not search for meaning or explanation. It floats gently within the darkness, supported by a silence that does not ask to be understood. Attention loosens naturally, becoming diffuse and light. Silence here feels absolute and effortless. It does not follow sound. It has always been present, stable and complete. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined movement dissolves before it can gather shape. The interstellar space does not listen. It does not respond. Silence belongs fully to everything here. There is no anticipation of change within this expanse. Nothing is about to form. Nothing is about to fade. The region does not suggest creation or collapse. It exists within a universe that has slowed enough to allow vast openness without tension and stillness without end. Space does not wait. It remains. Matter, where it exists at all, feels scattered without pattern or purpose. Particles drift so slowly that motion loses meaning. Nothing gathers into structure. Nothing disperses into absence. Everything remains suspended in a calm neutrality that does not resolve into event. Presence exists without insistence. In this deep interstellar quiet, where light has thinned into faint suggestion, and time has released its grip, the universe continues to hold itself gently, allowing distance, darkness, and silence to coexist without friction. Everything here has slowed enough to rest together, suspended within a stillness that does not progress or conclude, but simply continues to be, wide, patient, and undisturbed. Block 8. The universe now rests in a state where even interstellar distance has softened into something almost imperceptible, and awareness drifts toward a quiet region where matter is thinned nearly to absence. This is not a void in the sense of emptiness. It is a place where presence has become subtle enough that nothing asserts itself. Space here feels smooth and even, as if every remaining trace of motion has been gently absorbed into stillness. Particles drift through this region so slowly that their movement cannot be separated from rest. They do not collide or gather. They do not disperse with urgency. Their paths are long and patient, stretching across distances that no longer feel measurable. Matter exists here only as suggestion, a faint continuity that confirms existence without demanding recognition. Nothing seeks form. Nothing dissolves into nothingness. Everything simply remains. Darkness in this region feels especially calm, not heavy and not deep, but evenly held. It does not conceal or reveal. It allows space to feel complete without filling it. Light, when it reaches this place at all, arrives as a faint presence, already softened beyond distinction. There is no illumination that sharpens edges. Brightness dissolves gently, becoming part of the same quiet field as the dark. Energy here moves so gently that it no longer registers as flow. Radiation disperses evenly, never concentrating enough to create contrast. Heat spreads thinly until temperature becomes irrelevant. Extremes have long since softened into neutrality. The universe here does not require balance to be maintained. Balance has become its natural state. Time feels almost entirely absent in this region. The idea of duration no longer applies. Moments do not unfold or pass. They overlap softly, forming a single sustained presence that does not move forward or backward. The sense of waiting disappears. Nothing here is about to happen. Nothing has just happened. The present feels complete and sufficient. If awareness lingers in this near emptiness, it slows immediately. Thought does not attempt to define what is present or absent. The mind does not search for meaning or explanation. It floats gently within the quiet, supported by a silence that does not ask to be understood. Attention loosens, spreading thinly across space, then softening further. Silence here is absolute without being heavy. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable and unbroken. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined motion dissolves before it can gather shape. Silence belongs fully to this region, not as absence, but as the natural condition of everything within it. Memory, if it reaches this far, loses all form. The idea of stars, galaxies, or systems feels distant and abstract. Those structures have softened into something indistinguishable from space itself. What remains is not forgetting, but calm continuity without reference. The universe does not recall what it once was. It simply is. There is no anticipation of change here. Nothing is forming. Nothing is fading. This region does not suggest creation or end. It exists within a universe that is slowed enough to allow presence without structure and existence without demand. Space rests within itself, quiet and even, without the need to move toward anything else. In this subtle stillness, where matter has thinned into suggestion and time has released its final grip, the universe continues to hold itself gently, allowing everything within it to slow, to settle, and to remain within a silence that does not progress or conclude, but simply continues to be, calm and undisturbed. This region of near emptiness continues to rest without alteration, held within a stillness so complete that even the idea of absence feels unnecessary. Space does not stretch or compress here. It simply remains, smooth and even, without variation that could suggest movement or direction. The universe no longer differentiates between fullness and emptiness in this place. Everything has softened into the same quiet condition. The faint particles that drift here continue their nearly imperceptible paths, their motion so slow that it blends seamlessly into rest. They do not meet or separate in ways that can be noticed. Their presence feels symbolic rather than physical. A reminder that existence can persist without structure or intention. Matter no longer seeks to organize itself. It has learned how to remain without forming. Darkness continues to hold this region gently, not as a veil, but as a stable field. It does not deepen or thin. It allows space to feel complete without filling it. Light that reaches this place arrives already quiet, already dispersed, offering no contrast that could awaken attention. Illumination dissolves into the same calm tone as the dark, until distinction feels irrelevant. Energy here disperses so evenly that it no longer registers as movement. Radiation spreads thinly, never concentrating enough to disturb the balance. Heat and cold have lost their difference, merging into neutrality. Extremes have faded entirely. What remains is a steady calm that does not require maintenance or correction. Balance has become effortless. Time has released nearly all of its structure in this region. The sense of sequence dissolves until moments no longer follow one another. There is no impression of duration passing. The present does not extend or resolve. It simply exists, sustained without effort. The universe here does not wait. It does not move forward. It rests. If awareness lingers in this softened space, it does so without anchoring itself anywhere. Attention does not settle on particles or distance. It spreads gently across the quiet, then begins to loosen further. There is nothing here to focus on, nothing to interpret. The mind naturally releases its grip, allowing thought to thin and soften. Thoughts, when they arise, remain incomplete and faint. They do not gather into ideas or images. Meaning does not assemble. The mind aligns effortlessly with the stillness of the region, slowing until awareness feels diffuse and light, almost indistinguishable from the silence that surrounds it. Silence here feels absolute and natural. It does not follow sound. It has always been present, stable, and unbroken. There is no echo and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined motion dissolves before it can form. Silence does not belong to emptiness. It belongs to rest. Memory has faded entirely here. The idea of stars, galaxies, or even space itself no longer forms clearly. Reference points dissolve. What remains is not nothingness, but a calm continuity. Without contrast or definition, the universe does not recall its earlier states. It does not anticipate future ones. It simply remains. There is no anticipation of change in this quiet expanse. Nothing is forming. Nothing is ending. This region does not suggest conclusion or beginning. It exists within a universe that is slowed enough to allow existence without structure and presence without demand. Space holds itself gently, without urgency or direction. In this deep stillness, where matter has thinned beyond form and time has released its final shape, the universe continues to exist quietly, allowing everything within it to slow, to soften, and to remain within a silence that does not move forward or backward, but simply continues to be complete and undisturbed. Block 9. The universe now rests in a condition where even near emptiness has softened further, easing into a vast calm that no longer feels like space unfolding or distance being held apart. Here, presence spreads evenly in all directions, not expanding and not contracting, simply remaining in a quiet balance that does not require structure. There is no sense of outward movement or inward return. Direction has released its meaning, and location no longer feels anchored to anything that could be named or reached. What remains of matter within this region exists so subtly that form itself has become optional. Particles linger without trajectory, suspended in a state where motion has thinned into something nearly indistinguishable from rest. They do not gather or disperse in ways that can be marked. They do not collide with urgency or separate with intention. Existence persists here as a condition rather than a process, calm and continuous, without assembling itself into recognizable structure. Darkness in this region does not behave as absence or depth. It feels even and complete, a stable field that allows everything to remain without contrast. It does not conceal, and it does not reveal. Light, when it reaches this place at all, arrives already soft, beyond distinction, carrying no brightness capable of defining edges or shape. Illumination dissolves almost immediately, becoming part of the same quiet presence as the dark. Difference has released its role here entirely. Energy no longer moves in a way that can be followed or traced. Radiation disperses so evenly that it loses the sense of direction or flow. Heat and cold no longer oppose one another. They have settled into a shared neutrality where temperature itself feels irrelevant. Extremes have softened beyond recognition, leaving behind a balance that does not require correction or maintenance. The universe here has learned how to remain without adjustment. Time in this region has thinned almost completely, releasing its structure until sequence no longer applies. Moments do not follow one another. They do not accumulate or pass. The present does not stretch or conclude. It exists as a single, sustained presence that does not move forward or backward. Waiting disappears entirely. Nothing here is about to happen, and nothing has recently happened. The idea of change feels distant and abstract. If awareness drifts through this quiet field, it slows immediately, as though it has entered a place where effort is no longer necessary. Thought does not attempt to measure distance or imagine scale. The mind does not search for explanation or meaning. It floats gently within the stillness, supported by a silence that does not ask to be understood. Attention loosens naturally, becoming diffused and light, no longer attaching itself to any point or boundary. Silence here is complete, without feeling heavy or imposed. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable, and unbroken. There is no echo waiting to return, and no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined movement dissolves before it can gather form. Silence does not belong to emptiness. It belongs to rest that is settled fully and without resistance. Memory no longer reaches clearly into this region. The idea of stars, galaxies, or even space itself fades into something abstract and distant. Reference points dissolve until there is nothing left to recall or recognize. What exists here does not remember what it once was, and it does not anticipate what it might become. Narrative has released its hold completely, leaving behind only calm continuity without story. Presence here does not feel thin or fragile. It feels sufficient. Existence no longer depends on structure, interaction, or motion to justify itself. Everything that remains has slowed enough to rest within itself, without striving toward form or dissolution. The universe does not perform or display itself. It simply holds. There is no anticipation of change in this region, and no sense of completion being reached. Nothing is forming, and nothing is fading in any way that can be marked. This is not an ending, and not a beginning. It is a sustained state where everything is slowed enough to remain without effort. The universe holds itself gently here, allowing existence to continue without urgency, without direction, and without the need to move forward. Resting quietly within a stillness that does not progress or conclude, but simply continues to be. This vast calm continues without alteration, as though the universe itself has settled into a final, effortless balance where nothing needs to adjust or respond. Presence here does not shift or redistribute. It remains evenly spread, allowing everything that still exists to rest without being drawn toward any center or edge. The idea of location has softened entirely, replaced by a quiet sameness that holds without enclosing. Matter, in whatever faint form it remains, does not gather or separate. Particles linger without path or destination, suspended in a state where motion has lost all urgency. Their existence does not suggest interaction or isolation. They simply remain, neither approaching nor receding, as if the concept of distance has released its influence. Nothing here asks to be organized. Nothing seeks to dissolve further. Darkness continues to rest evenly across this region, not deepening and not thinning. It does not conceal or protect. It simply allows presence to exist without contrast. Light no longer arrives as illumination. If it reaches this place at all, it arrives already quiet, already dispersed, unable to define form or boundary. Brightness dissolves instantly into the same calm tone as the dark, until distinction itself feels unnecessary. Energy here has become indistinguishable from stillness. Radiation disperses so completely that it no longer registers as movement. Heat and cold have lost all separation. settling into a shared neutrality that does not fluctuate. Extremes have disappeared entirely, leaving behind a balance so stable that it does not require preservation. The universe has reached a condition where equilibrium sustains itself naturally. Time has released its final structure in this region. The sense of sequence has dissolved fully. Moments do not arrive or depart. They do not overlap or extend. They simply exist as a single, unbroken presence. The idea of duration has lost meaning. Nothing here waits. Nothing here remembers. The present does not move. If awareness lingers within this stillness, it does so faintly, without attachment or direction. Thought does not attempt to understand what is happening, because nothing feels like it is happening at all. The mind does not search for pattern or explanation. It floats gently, supported by a silence that does not require interpretation. Attention loosens further, becoming diffuse and nearly weightless. Silence here is absolute, without being oppressive. It does not arrive after sound. It has always been present, stable and complete. There is no echo, no resonance, no anticipation of vibration. Even imagined motion dissolves immediately. Silence does not belong to absence. It belongs to a rest so deep that disturbance no longer forms. Memory has fully released its reach here. The idea of stars, galaxies, or space itself no longer assembles into image or reference. What remains does not recall earlier states of the universe. It does not anticipate later ones. History and future dissolve into the same quiet neutrality. Narrative has no place here. Presence exists without story. Existence in this region does not feel fragile or tentative. It feels settled and sufficient. Nothing depends on interaction, motion, or structure to justify itself. Everything that remains has slowed beyond effort, beyond chant, into a calm continuity that does not seek form or dissolution. There is no anticipation of transformation here, and no sense of conclusion being reached. Nothing forms, and nothing fades in a way that can be noticed. This is not an end and not a beginning. It is a sustained stillness where the universe rests fully within itself, allowing everything that exists to remain without urgency, without direction, and without the need to move forward, held gently within a silence that does not progress or resolve, but simply continues to be, complete and undisturbed. Block 10. The universe now rests in a condition where even stillness is softened to something gentler than pause, something closer to quiet presence without definition. There is no sense of arrival here, no impression that anything has reached a final state. It feels instead as though everything that once moved, expanded, formed, and separated has gradually eased into a shared calm, where existence no longer needs to explain itself through change. Space no longer feels vast or empty. It feels even. It does not stretch outward or open further. It simply holds, smooth and continuous, without variation that could suggest distance or direction. The idea of inside and outside dissolves completely. There is no center from which things extend and no edge where they might end. Presence spreads evenly, allowing everything that remains to rest without orientation. What little matter persists no longer gathers into form. It does not seek structure or particles remain suspended in a quiet balance, their motion so slow that it merges fully with rest. There is no interaction that can be observed, no separation that can be measured. Existence here is no longer defined by relationship or process. It exists as a calm condition, steady and sufficient. Darkness has released any sense of depth or concealment. It does not hide and does not reveal. It simply allows presence to exist without contrast. Light, if it reaches this state at all, arrives already softened beyond distinction, unable to define shape or boundary. Illumination dissolves immediately into the same gentle tone as the dark, until difference itself feels unnecessary. Everything, rests within the same muted quiet. Energy no longer behaves as movement. Radiation disperses so evenly that it cannot be traced. Heat and cold have lost their difference entirely, settling into a neutrality that does not fluctuate. Extremes no longer arise. Balance does not need to be maintained. It exists naturally, as though the universe has learned how to remain without correction. Time has thinned beyond recognition. Sequence no longer applies. Moments do not follow one another or overlap. They simply exist as a single, sustained presence that does not move forward or backward. Oh no, nothing here waits. Nothing here remembers. The present holds itself without effort. If awareness lingers within this quiet state, it does so faintly, without anchoring itself to anything. Thought does not form questions or explanations. The mind does not search for meaning or pattern. It floats gently within a silence that does not ask to be understood. Attention loosens naturally, becoming diffuse and light, until even the act of noticing feels unnecessary. Silence here is not the absence of sound. It is the natural condition of everything that remains. It does not arrive after noise and does not wait to be broken. It exists steadily, without echo or anticipation. Even imagined movement dissolves before it can take shape. Silence belongs fully and effortlessly. Memory has no reach in this place. The idea of stars, galaxies, expansion, or collapse no longer forms image or reference. What remains does not recall what the universe once was, and it does not anticipate what it might become. Narrative has released its hold entirely. Presence exists without story, without comparison, without expectation. There is no sense of ending here, and no suggestion of beginning. Nothing completes itself, and nothing prepares to emerge. This is not a conclusion and not a threshold. It is a sustained state where everything is slowed enough to remain without effort. The universe rests fully within itself, allowing existence to continue quietly, without urgency, without direction, and without the need to move forward, held gently within a stillness that does not progress or resolve, but simply continues to be. This quiet condition continues without transition, as though the universe has released even the idea of reaching a final state. Nothing settles further, and nothing lifts away. Presence remains evenly distributed, calm and unremarkable, held in a balance that does not require attention or correction. There is no sense of culmination here, no impression that something is finished unfolding. What exists simply continues, without announcing itself as continuation. Space no longer suggests openness or enclosure. It does not stretch or contain. It rests as a smooth, uninterrupted field where variation has softened beyond recognition. Distance has lost its meaning, and with it, the need for orientation. There is no place to move toward and no place to move away from. Everything that remains exists at the same gentle depth of presence, without center or edge. Matter, where it still exists at all, feels almost symbolic. A faint confirmation that existence has not vanished, only quieted. Particles remain suspended without path or interaction, their motion thinned until it is indistinguishable from rest. They do not seek structure, and they do not dissolve further. They remain as they are, without effort, without intention, without change that can be marked. Darkness continues to hold everything evenly, not as a backdrop, but as a shared condition. It does not conceal or surround. It allows presence to exist without contrast. Light no longer enters as illumination. If it reaches this state, it arrives already diffused beyond recognition, unable to form shape or boundary. Difference between light and dark has softened completely, leaving only a quiet sameness that does not need to be defined. Energy here has released its final traces of movement. Radiation disperses so evenly that it cannot be sensed as flow. Heat and cold have merged fully into neutrality. There are no gradients, no shifts, no extremes. Balance no longer needs to be maintained. It sustains itself naturally, without vigilance, as though the universe has learned how to rest without effort. Time has dissolved entirely into presence. There is no sequence, no duration, no sense of moments passing or accumulating. The present does not extend or resolve. It simply exists, steady and unchanging. Nothing waits for the future, and nothing remembers the past. Time has released its influence completely, leaving only a calm now that does not move. If awareness remains here at all, it does so faintly, without focus or attachment. Thought does not arise in any complete form. The mind does not attempt to interpret or understand. It rests within the same quiet field, supported by a silence that does not invite explanation. Attention loosens until it no longer holds to anything, becoming light and diffuse, almost indistinguishable from rest itself. Silence here is total, without being heavy. It does not arrive after sound, and it does not anticipate disturbance. It has always been present, stable and effortless. There is no echo, no resonance, no vibration waiting to form. Silence is not something that happens here. It is simply what remains. Memory has fully released its reach. The universe no longer carries images of its earlier states. No recollection of expansion, formation, or movement. It does not anticipate transformation or return. Story has dissolved entirely. What exists here does not remember being anything else. It exists without reference. There is no anticipation of change, and no sense of completion being reached. Nothing forms, and nothing fades in a way that can be noticed. This is not an ending, and not a beginning. It is a sustained stillness where existence continues without effort, without direction, and without demand. The universe remains, not as motion, not as event, not as unfolding, but as quiet presence held within itself. Everything that exists here has slowed beyond urgency, beyond change, beyond narrative, allowing existence to continue gently, undisturbed, within a stillness that does not progress or resolve, but simply continues to be complete and at rest.